Welcome back. I'm Steve, and you're watching the Pokepointers channel, where we dive deep into the numbers of the Pokemon TCG for our own personal collection, and to help you make a better decision on the cards and the sets that you're buying. So today we're going to be doing something special, where in light of the new Evolving Skies set that's coming out on August 27th, I wanted to revisit all the Sword and Shield TCG sets and their chase cards. It's really interesting to see the price history of how those top tier chase cards in each set has done. So what I'm going to do is look at each of them from a numerical standpoint, analyze them, and then see how I think the new Evolving Skies chase cards are going to do in the short, medium, and long term. So let's get started.
Pikachu.
So first, we have none other than the Marnie Full Art Trainer card. Now this card started off on pretty average at around $28 when it first released back in February 7th of 2020. So that was almost 18 months ago. And what we saw in about the first week was that there was some hype around it. That card moved up about 17% to $33. But as the time went on and there wasn't really that full art trainer hype just yet, we saw the card dip 3%, 16%, and it wasn't really until towards the end of the year, that August to September timeframe, when there was a lot of hype around Logan Paul and really the other sets that were coming out, that we did see a spike, a small spike in Marnie, where it reached back to that $33 price point. Now what's really interesting is that towards the end of last year, there was this huge waifu full art trainer spike, and everything went up across the board, specifically Marnie, and we see now today that her prices have increased over 144% to $68. So that's really interesting to see. I want to see how it's going to look long term. I do think that there's going to be a little bit of die down on this particular card, just because there's a ton more new Marnie cards coming out in the Evolving Skies set, as well as in the premium collections. Second on the list, we have the Red-Headed Stepchild Rebel Clash that was released on May 1st of last year in 2020, and the chase card in this set is Boss's Orders. Boss's Orders actually did start off quite strong at $34 when it first released, because there was a ton of Pokemon TCG players and TCG Online players that were using this card. It was part of the meta for a very long time. In the first week, we did see it dip about 12% down to $30, but then we've seen it pretty much stabilize over time. In the first month, it went up 33% to $45, and even today, while it has gone through some ebb and flows, it's about the same price. It's actually gone up about 21% since its release. So I do think that there is some staying power here. $41 is a perfectly reasonable price for a set that, let's be honest here, is probably not going to get reprinted. Third, we have Darkness Ablaze. This set came out in mid-August of last year, and this was the first time in Sword and Shield that we saw a chase Charizard card. So that is none other than the Charizard VMAX card. That was really just the only chase card in this entire set. The only card really worth looking for. And when it started out, it was around $110, and it's fallen pretty consistently since then, and it's kind of what we've come to expect for a lot of these types of chase cards. So in the first week, it only fell slightly to about $109, but over 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, we've seen that fall 20%, and even today, that card is now worth about $75. So if you haven't gotten this card, if you haven't added this card to your personal collection, for $75 for a chase Charizard card, I would say it's not a bad idea to pick one or two up if you can find one in pretty good condition. Fourth on the list, and that's the Charizard VMAX Secret Rainbow Rare. This is one of the few times that a Rainbow Rare card is worth more than, let's say, another Charizard V card that is in the same set. But this card started off extremely strong, almost $500 when it first released, just because of how difficult it was to pull, and even its own counterpart, Charizard V, was hovering right around that same price. But as we've seen, actually in the first month or so, it fell about 30% to right above $300, and it's fallen down consistently as other Charizard cards came into the other TCG sets, expansions, and today it's fallen about 60% to $205. So if you, again, haven't added this to your PC, I would say pretty good pickup. Number 5 on the list, we have none other than Vivid Voltage, one of the more popular sets of 2020. This set was released on November 13th of last year, and far and away, the chase card of this set is the Pikachu VMAX Secret Rare. This is one of the most difficult cards to pull in the entire Sword and Shield set and the expansions, with Charizard opening up over thousands of these booster packs and only finding one Pikachu in every 1,000 packs. So that goes to show how rare this card is. The card originally started off right under $300 and fell for a bit in the first month. It hovered right around that $240, $250 range, but this also caught on to the hype where about 3 months in, this was the height of Pokemon in February, where that card just kept gaining momentum, gaining price, and it was near $400 by the time it was all said and done. Now, the Pokemon hype has died down a little bit with a lot of the scalpers and the new individuals that are coming into the hobby that have left it. So Pikachu has actually gone down a little bit in price. It's down 17% to right around that $240 range that we saw 1 month in. Another reason why I speculate this might be there might be a price decrease in the Pikachu VMAX is due to a lot of the reprints that happened in the past 2 months for Vivid Voltage. You'll see that a lot of retailers, even the Pokemon Center, was releasing a lot of the Vivid Voltage booster boxes. So it's just better chance of pulling that Pikachu VMAX. Even looking at PSA, I believe there's almost 1,500 PSA 10s graded in for this Pikachu, and I actually have one myself that I graded via Express back in February. So I was really lucky to pull that. I really wasn't expecting it, but hoping for 9, but I fortunately got a 10. All right, the first set of 2021, that is the Shining Fates Charizard VMAX, which this entire set was released on February 19th of this year, actually right around 6 months ago. And this was probably the most hyped Charizard that we'd had in a very long time. This was also the first one that broke that almost $1,000 barrier for an ungraded modern card, where in pre-release it was around $1,000 on eBay, but upon release we saw it hit and sell for about $750. Really, really exciting stuff. Like a lot of YouTubers were telling us, it was just to hold, make sure not to get price gouged when buying a lot of these Charizards, because there were going to be more flooding the market as more and more people were opening up these packs. And we saw in the first week, actually, that the Charizard fell 26% to under $600. 1 month in, it fell about 50% to $400. And even today, it's 6 months in, it's 77% lower than its original starting price at right around $170. This is probably one of the best recommendations to pick up this Charizard. I've seen it sell on eBay for around $150. If you can find a really good copy, it's a great deal. It's something you should chase for, because, personally, I've never opened up one of these shiny Charizards for myself. I opened it up for another, but I'm really, really contemplating picking up a couple copies. The second set of 2021, Battle Styles, released on March 19th, and this was one of the sets where people likened it to either Rebel Clash or Sword and Shield, but there's a really, really cool concept that was introduced into the set, and that's the alternate arts. And none other than the Tyranitar V alternate art became that chase card. When it first came out, it was hovering right around that $153 upon release. I actually saw it go for about $250 in pre-release, but right at release, this was probably actually the number 2 chase card behind the Urshifu VMAX Rapid Strike Alt Art. But in the first week, it fell to $140, and 3 months in, right around that May period, we saw it go dip right below $100, which is about a 35% drop. And even today, we're seeing it hover right around $90 as the most expensive card in Battle Styles. People give Battle Styles a lot of flack, but I would say, yeah, in terms of the chase cards, it's still higher than Sword and Shield base and Rebel Clash and even Darkness Ablaze, so we got to give it some credit. And finally, we have the newest set that just came out in English. That was Chilling Reign. That was released on June 18th. And the chase card of this set was the Blaziken VMAX alternate art. When it came out, it was around $137. There were a couple of other cards that were really, really close to that price as well, but I would say most people are trying to chase the Blaziken VMAX. In the first week, it only fell about 4%, so it's actually pretty good compared to Vivid Voltage, compared to Shining Fates, likely because there just wasn't as many people opening up Chilling Reign. But in the first month, it went right above to about $133, and then today we're seeing it sit right around $135. So this is really, really interesting because I haven't seen some staying power in a card like this in a long time, and I'm wondering if that is just due to some of the scalpers and the flippers that have left the hobby, and it's more of a personal collection, more of a personal collector that's buying this, and the demand is staying pretty strong. So now we've taken a look at all the different Sword and Shield sets that have come out and all their chase cards. What does that mean for Evolving Skies? So I did a bit of calculation here. I found the average, and I took the average price decreases, the average price changes from 1 week to a month after release to 3 months to 6 months till today. And the numbers that I came up with were that in the first week, a top chase card in the Sword and Shield expansions would fall about 14%, 1 month in about 29%, 3 months in only lose another 1% to be about 30% drop from its release price, 6 months at 33%, and in current day, right? As of today, it would fall almost 50%. So if we take a look at the potential chase cards of Evolving Skies, the first one is going to be that Umbreon VMAX alternate art. It's a beautiful card. This set is coming out in about a week on August 27th. And what we're seeing is this card go for potentially in pre-release about $450. This could change in the couple days before I release this video. But if we take those same calculations from the historical Sword and Shield chase cards, we'll find that in the first week, Umbreon will probably drop to right under $390 in the first month to about $320, 3 months at $314, 6 months right above $300, and in the long term, we could see that card staying stable at $232. So that's really interesting, and what it does is just cement the idea, that hypothesis, that you shouldn't buy singles right off the bat because they're going to be stable and and more fairly priced in the long term. And then finally, and of course we have to include the Rayquaza VMAX alternate art in this conversation. I was checking eBay the other day and we saw listings for right around $600. I think even on TCG Player there was a card sold for that price as well. But if we take a look, we'll see that in the first week it'll drop to $517. In the first month it'll go below that to $426 and hover pretty close to there, $418 in 3 months, $405 in 6 months, and then in the long term be right above $300. So with both these cards, what am I saying now is that if you have to buy them and you don't get the opportunity to open them yourselves in an Evolving Skies booster box or any packs, the best slot of time to buy these cards is between 1 month and 6 months. For these cards, you'll get the best bang for your buck. So what do you think of my analysis? Are there any other chase cards that you're looking for? Do you think that it's fair to say that the Umbreon and the Rayquaza will fall nearly 50% in the long term? Let me know in the comments. I'm really, really interested in what you guys have to say. And if you really like the content that I'm putting out, please remember to hit like on the video, click subscribe to the channel. It really helps. And if you ring that notification bell, that's going to help me create a lot better content for you guys in the future. So I'm Steve, you're watching the Pokepointers channel, and I'll see you all next time.